We are rolling. We are absolutely rolling, people. Petitions are being delivered all across the state of Michigan. Thousands have arrived in your mailboxes, and we thank you for all the posting that you've been doing of pictures of your various things arriving. We have to tell you that we're thrilled to finally get this underway. It's been a long time coming. So I thank you for joining me on this Saturday morning, and I just wanted to give it just a couple of seconds for us to be able to get some things rolling here for everybody. I'm hoping I can see my comments. I haven't been able to see them the last couple of times. Facebook did its wonderful update, and when the update happened, I guess there have been a lot of people that have been having issues that have been going on. So hopefully I can see them. Yes, it looks like I can see comments. Thank God. So thank you, Brenda. Thank you for you're the first one I've seen in a week. And so I appreciate it very much. On this Saturday morning, again, I don't know if you've got yours. If you have, send me a message to let me know that you've got it. We are just excited again. It has only been, imagine this, it's only been a week ago yesterday that since we have actually had the petitions printed and being able to be mailed, and we now have tens of thousands of them out there. I'm going to guess that we probably combined have between 50 and 75,000 petition sheets that have been delivered around the state of Michigan. That does not count all of the ones that we have sent to hubs like Republican Party or other organizations, businesses that have said, look, I'm going to set up a station here. And so what I wanted to talk to you about this morning, I mentioned it, was some questions and answers. So if you'll hold your questions for just about 5 minutes, I want to make sure that those that are joining, first of all, if you've seen all these pictures of people getting their petitions and you wonder, where did they get this or where do I sign? That's in this post. The top of it basically states right there, click on the link, order your petition kit. You will get 4 petition sheets in the mail delivered to your house. All you do is fill in your information, your email address and your mailing address, and we will get those out to you. The other great news is there's a whole bunch of people that have said, mine isn't here yet. Did I fill it out correctly? I believe you did. Understand we probably had in the neighborhood of 5,000 people a day that were filling out for petition sheets on day 1, 2, and 3. That means we had almost 15,000 of you by the time we got to the first part of the week, and there were some being delivered and shipped out by that week ago Monday. I just want you to basically think about this, that again in 7 or 8 days we have probably printed again somewhere in the neighborhood of 40 to 50,000 of these of the petition kits have been gotten ready. There are probably again 15,000 of those kits that have gone into the mail, and we have delivered cases and cases, thousands and thousands throughout the state, and we're getting requests every single day for more and more of these. So how can I get? I see that from Steve here. Click the link on the top of this post. The first one says sign up to get your petitions. There are a couple ways to do that. That link is right there. It will take you right to that spot. The other chance, or the other thing you can do, is go to standupmichigan.com and just scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and right there you will see Stand Up Michigan, get my petitions here. And next to that is the most important thing you can do after that, and that is watch the video that says fill out my petition properly. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, along with the most frequently asked questions. And then if you have additional questions, I want to give you time to answer those. But the one thing I want to cover first is, what do we have here? We have Governor's Executive Order 2020-153. 153 came out yesterday afternoon. For those of you that haven't heard the details, she has now rescinded Executive Order number 147, which was regarding masks, because the bottom line was you didn't do it right. You didn't do it as she told you to. And so she's clarified the order in a couple of 3 different ways. I'm just going to cover the differences from what she ordered everyone to do the last time. The first thing that she's doing is she's clarified that you do not have to wear a mask at a polling place for the purpose of voting in an election. It is not required. So for that particular purpose, you cannot pass the disease to anyone while voting. You can if you're in line going to a restaurant. You can't at a polling place. I don't know what they're doing at a polling place, but you cannot obviously pass it there. They're recommending that you wear it other times, but not at a polling place. Secondly, they have All right, let's go through this. Businesses all last weekend, since this mask order a week ago was put into place, have done what? They tried to figure out how to navigate the latest in the series of restrictions and clarifications for their employees, for their management, for their posting, for their signage. How in the world do we do this without offending our customers, without putting our staff of any kind at any business at risk? How do we do that effectively? Most businesses found a way to do that by just following the words that were in her order. Literally just putting up there something that talked about you're required to wear a mask in here. However, these are the exemptions because that's what the governor said. So now that you've posted all that, now that you've notified all of the people that work for you, all as management has put that internally in emails or through messaging with their employees, you're going to do it kind of all over again because she has clarified in here, secondly, that businesses may not assume that the unmasked customer cannot medically tolerate a face covering. So you now have to ask. Well, that fits in with the narrative of we want a little bit of confrontation, doesn't it? Because this forces you or someone to have to say, can you wear a mask? You need to have a mask in here, so that they have to speak the words. So if they cannot medically tolerate a face covering. So it says that though they may accept a customer's verbal representation to that effect. So it has to be verbal. You have to say, can you wear a mask? The person has to say, I cannot, and then you can verbally accept it. You can't write that on the door because I guess that's not enough for them to read it and for you to assume they're following directions, because we simply can't do that without communicating it verbally, which again creates stress for every individual going into an establishment and for everybody who works at an establishment. And I'm sure she's really satisfied with the results of this. So those are the area. And then we have third, the order addresses the interaction between masks and is now ordering all public safety officers to wear a face covering unless doing so would seriously interfere with their performance. And I would say the majority of the time it could affect their performance. But that's up to each individual area and police department and security and whatever it is there. But those are clarified. So 147's gone, 153 is here. There have been more executive orders than there have been days since she's done it. The great thing I'm seeing here is I'm seeing postings about where people are going to be at today. Glance through those both now and after the fact, so that if indeed you need to sign somewhere, you can see areas in which you can maybe go sign in your county or area. I can tell you that Senator Tom Barrett is near Lansing. That is listed in our feed, both in the page and in the group. So that brings me to the group, and the reason that is we have some resources there for you. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, and you're obviously might be watching through the Facebook page, is join our group. It is Stand Up Michigan to Unlock Michigan. It is an interactive group. It's a place where you can submit pictures and postings of your receiving your petitions and or signing events. It also is a place where you can say, hey, I'm in this county if people want to get in touch with me and would like to sign a petition. The other thing that we've done there is we have actually created, if you go to the group area and at the top bar across on the right-hand side, you'll see the word files. If you click on that, there's a drop-down. That drop-down area has several PDFs. That will be off of a computer. For some reason right now, the interaction on the last part I'm going to tell you isn't working with iPhone. It does on comments, so that's not a problem. But being able to put something there requires the computer. We are fixing that. Literally, this has been in the last 48 hours. However, if you'll scroll through the regular group there, you will find probably 100 different counties and locations where people have petitions available, and say, if you want to sign, reach out to me, message me, or you can comment, obviously, with everybody there through the page. And so let's stick with the group. The file drop-down. The last item on the file drop-down says, find a petition to sign near you. That is a document. We have been putting information in there as people have submitted things, and those actually have places where petitions are available. You can comment on all of those. You can also see the people's name, look them up, and connect with them. We are hoping to have this interactive in a better way very soon, but this is a way for you today and over the weekend to definitely be able to connect with people who have petitions available if you just simply want to sign. So What else do we see? A couple of comments here. Can we sign more than one petition? I'm assuming no. So let's go through that quickly. Right now, there are basically two circulating petitions. There is the Restore Freedom Initiative. That initiative passed the deadline to get on the ballot in 2020, but they are continuing on to get signatures, would go on the ballot as early as 2022. You can absolutely sign multiple petitions if indeed you're going there. These are for different citizens' initiatives. The third one that isn't available yet, but will be shortly, is going to be the recall petition. I know a lot of you are excited about signing that, and that one will be available probably the end of July, the first part of August. And they will be obviously providing information. But at Stand Up Michigan, Unlock Michigan, this is our goal. This is our mission. Why? Because this can be done this year. This does not require to go on a ballot. When we get these signatures and we verify those signatures, this just requires a simple majority of the House and Senate, and we repeal the 1945 law. It is one sentence long. You can read it there, or you can read it on the website. But I wanted to go through just for a few minutes, and I'm going to get back to your questions on here, but interact with each other. I appreciate that very much. So here is the reason I wanted to join you today is, yes, it's to answer questions and frequently asked questions. It's also to keep in mind of one very important thing. If we think of this petition sheet as just doing this one signature, one person at a time, one line at a time, it really is very easy, probably a 2 to 3 minute process, including if you had to verify something or they had to get out their driver's license, for instance. But it is very important we follow it, because this is one of the first initiatives that a statewide campaign has ever done by sending this volume directly to people's homes. We are entrusting you to watch the video, to ask the questions, and to make sure that the instructions that are listed, and those instructions are listed right there on the right-hand side of every single petition sheet, is an instruction set. It will walk you through each and every area of making sure that you do it properly. We do have a few extra questions that have been asked that aren't shown on here, but I'm going to go over those in a second. The reason I say this is, if we begin returning tens of thousands of circulated petitions from all of us, and if one or two of the signatures, or if one out of every 5 or 10 pages is done wrong, it is going to take us a lot longer to get them verified, and we're going to also have to collect an awful lot more signatures. So when you're taking the time to do it, if we do it right the first time, and if indeed 98 or 95% of these are done correctly, what happens? Then when they do the random check and there is more and more of them done correctly, we can get through this process, we can repeal this 1945 law, and we can return the checks and balances to the legislature as it is meant to be. And these powers and individual tyranny that we have seen would be gone, not only for this governor, but forever. I don't care, again, if you're Republican, you're a Democrat, a conservative, or a liberal. No one individual should have the authority over you and your business and you individually. This has just gotten to be a crazy thing. We have to repeal this, and we are doing it. We are doing it today and every day for this next, we're hoping, 45, 60 days. We have 180 days listed there. We have no intentions of taking 180 days, folks. We absolutely want you to do it. If there's 10 signatures a page and you have 4, we're estimating it may take you 2 or 3 hours of actual time. Obviously, going to a location takes time, but that's all the time it's going to take for all of us to do it, and we could have this completed. Literally, we could have this completed, I believe, in 30, 45, 60 days max, with collecting and doing our own verification. So that's it there. So what we've had the questions on is, can others, and this is a very good question, because you've signed up and you're getting these, does this mean you're an official circulator and you can't give petition sheets to other people? The answer is no, absolutely not. We have been shipping larger quantities to individuals and people who are connected with others who want to sign but haven't done it on their own, but say, look, if you'll give me a few sheets, I can go fill them out this weekend at an event or with my family. I got a family reunion, whatever it might be. You can absolutely give them to them. But there's a requirement involved. And I mean, it's not an official requirement, it's a request. And that is that you please go through, just like we are with you, the instructions on a sheet before you hand it to them to make sure they follow it. Go through one line with them. If they signed your petition, then go through what they just did. And please make sure that they're going to do that. And finally, make sure that they watch the video maybe 2 or 3 times And that video can be found in the link also at the top of this post. It is how to fill out a petition properly. The other place you can go if you're at an event is you can go to standupmichigan.com. Just scroll down to the bottom. The video is right there. And if somebody wants to do that, let them watch the video for 5 minutes before you let them take it if you want to, because it's very important we get this done properly the first time so that we don't do two things. One, we don't have to take longer to remove this and repeal this. But the most important thing is all those signatures you have on a page could maybe not be good. And we don't owe it to those people who've taken time also to fill it out for us to not have instructed them properly or not to have reviewed it as it's being done. Understand if any mistake is made, you can put a line through that and you can repeat it. So if something is there, don't cross out, don't X out. And then there are a couple of other things. You can't use ditto marks. So if it's a same address, husband and wife, you can't use these marks underneath. You have to fill it out completely. The other big question we're getting is in regard to the city and township. If you vote in a township, you can go to your voter ID card. That is what should be listed in there, and that's why it says city or township. If the zip code is different and you don't know for sure, just Google the township name and zip code, and it will pop up for you. You can see that real quick. It wouldn't take, 15, 20 seconds to verify that. In our area and rural area, typically the townships is the same as a local city, but in some areas and bigger cities, it is not. Their townships sometimes have, obviously, a separate zip code. The other thing that we see as a major mistake is it is not your date of birth on the end. It is the date you signed the petition. And then in the date, we have had a lot of questions. Can we put 20 or do we put 2020? Both should be just fine. I say put 2020 because it's what they've told us to do on checks and everything else. Let's just be safe and not give them any excuse. So put 2020, but either one should be acceptable. So you can give out petitions. Please make sure, again, that two things. One is maybe give them out to them and have them bring them back or deliver them back to you to be mailed in. The other thing we've had is, the mailing issue. We don't want to put these in the mail. We think they're going to get thrown away, destroyed, whatever it is. Look, that's possible, people. Anything is possible. So we are going to have county people that are going to be identified where you could drop off batches. But you can also take your 4 petitions and rather than using 4 stamps, put all 4 or those in there so that you can easily put them into a manila envelope, all 4, and mail them to the address that's listed. The address is listed right on the front of the petition sheet in Okemos, Michigan, and we have people that are there that will be going through these and analyzing how they're coming in, so we'll be giving you updates as they come in. Another big question is, will we know where we're at in the count? We're just excited to know where we are. Yes, absolutely. But it's going to take us time. Number one, they're just being delivered. Then you got to circulate. Then you got to get them back in. Then we got to look them over and start communicating. But in the next week or two, we will begin to tell you how they're coming in, the quality of what's coming in, and we'll be able to also give you other information on people reordering. So reordering, when you send your petition sheet back, on the front, if you use this, it actually has a box down here that says, please send me more petitions, and it actually has a line so you can put in a number. So if you want to mail 1 sheet back and say, I need 10 more, I need 20 more, you can do that on here. You can also send questions to info@unlockmichigan.com, info@unlockmichigan.com, and they will answer questions or get you a batch of petitions. We have had a lot of businesses and places that said, if I had these, I could get 100 signatures at my business. We welcome that. This is just simply a way getting into people's homes to get it done quickly and let everybody be out there in every county across the state. So how do you verify names? Obviously, again, I'm assuming we're talking about names that people are using when they sign a petition. But what we're doing basically is simply making sure that everything matches. When we go through those names, again, let's just run through one line item on here. So when you use your signature line, the signature should again be the signature that you would use on your driver's license or your voter ID. If you know that you sign your full name, that's fine. If it should be verified and fine if you always sign it, maybe even your driver's license, you simply signed it with your regular name and you don't use your full name. But if the rule of thumb is just sign it the same way you sign all your other official documents, and you should print your name the same as you signed it. So if you use your full name, print your full name. Street address, again, key there is no P.O. boxes. Physical address needs to be put there. Zip code, again, should match the township or city. And then here is the other one that is really important, is the circulator. And it isn't a big deal, but it's going to be on every one of yours. So we need to make sure it's listed right there under number 7 in the instructions. After you gather the signatures, they must complete this section. No signatures can be added to the petition after that portion is completed. The reason we say that is, if you were to send in a whole sheet and you signed the bottom and you dated it 7/17, but there were 2 slots available, and right before you put it in the mail, somebody said, oh, let me sign, and you said, oh, I got 2 slots here. If your signature as a circulator is dated before the person dates it that signed it, how did you witness that signature if indeed it was done after the date you signed as the circulator? So your date should be the last thing you put in there before you mail it back. Make sure it's there, but your signature date has to be after all the signatures were gathered. Another thing about signatures, and I know I'm covering a lot, and I'll go through questions for you individually, but if you watch it back, you'll hear it again, and that is that the dates on these, you don't have to get the dates on one petition sheet on the same day. They can be gathered over a week or 2 or 30 days, as long as the signature and date as a circulator is after the last signature has been gathered on that sheet. So you want to make sure that you just gather them so you don't have to fill a sheet. Also, the sheets don't have to be fully filled in. If you have a county, which is the other main thing, it's the only item besides the signatures that are there, it's right up here in the top, and it says county name. Only 1 county per sheet. So if you live where there are multiple counties, if you own a business and you're circulating, you're very, very likely to have people coming in from multiple counties. So you need to have multiple sheets, 1 for each county. And once you have somebody sign from that county, everyone else who signs that sheet has to be from that same county. But if you run into 4 people who are visiting from a county far, far away and you can't get them, no problem. You can sign the bottom eventually and mail those in with 4 signatures, 2 signatures, 5 signatures. They do not have to be fully filled out. They just have to be from the single county. So let's go through some question and answers here. Register to vote, y'all. There is the other one that we've had, and I really appreciate that because 2 things here. It's great for us to get people registered to vote. So if they're not, it's very easy. Go to michigan.gov. They can register to vote very quickly and easily today. And literally they could register to vote now and they can sign your petition in the next day or 2. Whatever it is, it literally is almost instantaneous. But have them register to vote. They do have to be registered to vote in order for them to sign the petition, just like you'd have to be registered to vote, right? Because this could end up on a ballot initiative. It won't, but it could indeed if a legislature didn't approve it after. And so therefore, the people that sign have to be registered to vote. So that's another very important one. Put the full year just and safe. I just covered that a minute ago, but I'm going to say it again. It is just to be safe. Putting the 7/17/20 should be fine, but we're saying put 2020 because they're telling us that for checks, for security purposes. We don't want any reason at all for them to say we don't agree with this. Just put 2020. It should be fine either way, but let's just be safe and put that in there as we go along. Register to vote again. November is an important election for all of us. Everybody should participate in the voting process, or what have we heard over and over again? Elections have consequences. We elected Gretchen Whitmer. She is our governor. The majority of Michiganders who voted for her. We might regret it. We might not regret it. We regret the decision she's making today for sure. But if you didn't vote in the last election, you need to make sure that you're registered to vote this year because it is vital that the House and the Senate will agree to pass this legislation. If for any reason we don't get the signatures till closer to the election, they aren't verified until after the election date, that would require them to potentially vote in December or January. And if that was to ever happen and it drug out that long, we need to make sure that we have the votes in the legislature, which brings me to another very important thing. You are going to have primaries for House members all over this state. All the House members are up for election. There's a lot of primaries happening in a couple of weeks. Therefore, there's question and answers that are always given by every single candidate. One of the questions you have to ask online, wherever you see these people, and I don't care again if they're Republican or Democrat, are you going to, if it comes before you as a legislator, to vote to repeal the 1945 law, are you going to vote in favor of repealing it? If there is a hesitation or there is a no, the answer or the question, answer is you don't vote for them. The question is for them, is why are you running to be a legislator if you do not believe that you should have a say, if you do not believe in checks and balances, if you're not going to uphold the Constitution that you say, which under these executive orders we're not. So they need to be asked the question because we need to hold them accountable now and after November. This is a bipartisan solution because every House and Senate member should want to say they represent you, and right now they have no say whatsoever in what's going on. Nothing. And so why would they run? Why would they be there if they do not believe in a time of emergency that the legislature should have a say in how we move forward? I believe they can, just like I believe businesses can run their businesses properly. They can do it safely, and I think that they are. So what else do we have in comments, people? Anything new? I'm going to just scroll on up here, see what we've got. Just keep the comments and questions coming. Haven't received my petitions yet. Are they still in the mail? Yes, there are still, I believe, thousands of petition sheets that are going to go out over this weekend. They went yesterday. They will go again Monday. We believe right now, with the volume that's coming in of new requests, that we're going to be caught up. The queue will be caught up probably early this next week with those that signed up, say up through a couple of days, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. If you just signed up, it may be 2 or 3 days till we process it and another couple days until they get into the mail. So understand that it does take time for us to do that. But just know that we are working on it as quickly as possible. But the great news is the reason it's taking a while longer is because we've had thousands of you that have requested petitions. So what else do we have here? Good point about questioning our legislature. Well, it is because this is the time. They will be. If there are multiple Republican or Democratic people running, every one of them should be asked the question. So if you see a place that they're online or they have a website, see who's running and go to their website, ask them the question online and say, will you be voting to repeal 1945 Act? Because it is important that it get repealed so that you have a say because you represent me or us. I have a vaccination question. We're just going to cover the petition today, and I want to say hello to everybody that's out there. Ron just seemed to say voting registration zip. Yes, if you are in a township and the township has a different zip code, that should be the zip code that you put in there. Most of the time, the townships are the same zip code as your address. Your driver's license normally is correct, but a lot of times, again, our township listed is different than our city. For instance, I live inside the city, but we have 3 or 4 townships. In our case, all the zip codes are the same, but the townships are different, and you should put the township in there. If you have a question about it, you can look it up on the state's website, and you can look up the township name and zip code, and it'll pop up even under a single Google search. There's absolutely no deadline for this. We have listed it as 180 days. We have no intentions of taking 180 days to collect these, but that's what we have. But we have no deadline. But understand this. The quicker we get these, number one, the more likely we are to get them verified and be able to remove these orders and this power yet in 2020. Meaning that within 30 days of when they're verified, the legislature will act and will vote on these. Right now, currently, with the legislature, we have the votes to do this. If in November we have enough legislators who commit to do this, it won't matter. We're not trusting that. We are saying, make sure, put them on record, record them on record, print off and snapshots of them on record to make sure we hold them accountable so that we have a vast majority that will repeal the 1945 law or act as quickly as possible. Again, 500,000 signatures is our goal. We need about 375,000. We know automatically we're looking in the 425, 450,000. We just say if we can get 500,000, how much quicker or how much more quickly Can we get them verified when they're doing a random search if indeed there is an overwhelming number? It's like deciding an election. If they start seeing the numbers come in and they're overwhelming, it is a quicker and easier process for them to get verified. How will it take to get into effect? That is a very good question asked quite often. It will be in effect immediately. The legislature votes, it is repealed immediately. There is no lag time in between. Does that mean that our governor will not try and find ways around it in order through health services and other things? Of course she's going to, but this will immediately engage your legislature, give them a voice for you and we the people, and all of these executive orders past the extension. And there are lawsuits, as you know, going on. That's the other question. What about the lawsuits? August, there's going to be a hearing. That's the legislative lawsuit that's in the appellate court. The Supreme Court will be hearing comments in early September. They are actually waiting for the legislative. Appellate court also information, and either one of those could strike down the meat of this law as she's using it, and that she's extended herself, which would be an incredible, wonderful thing that could happen. But it doesn't mean that this act doesn't need to be repealed permanently, so that no governor in the future could ever use this against us. So the legislature will vote immediately when they're verified. I can promise you it will be days, not weeks. It will be quick, and we are constantly communicating with the legislators, the leadership in the legislature, and we believe we're going to have not only a positive vote, but we are going to have bipartisan support in the legislature to repeal 45, because what would happen if we got this done and there was an election after is every one of those people that voted against it basically are saying, you and we, the people, don't need to have a say. We need to have a single individual who makes decision for us based on their own science and data that they believe is more prevalent than the real science and data. My driver's license listed Rockford. This is from Becky. As my address, my house is physically in Plainfield Township. Look, again, if you vote in a Plainfield Township, you should put Plainfield Township, and normally your voter ID card has an address on it that would be the correct one for that. But normally your driver's license also matches at least your physical address, unless one has been updated since the last time that you were there. You'll see lots of comments in here. Scroll through those, because a lot of these people are interactive, have already done some of these things, and are giving you additional information. And you're right, the mail services are slow. Part of the reason we had the whole merchandise issue that took forever for people is that the company was contracted with a fulfillment house out of California, and it was literally taking 2 to 3 weeks to ship stuff across the state. So we stopped things temporarily on our website, and we shipped all of the merchandise that was left over to a Michigan location. We are fulfilling some things from temporarily through our event merchandise, and we are going to be posting new merchandise up onto our site very, very soon that you can order off of there. Everything will ship from Michigan and will ship quickly to you, but we needed to clarify and get ready that. So we know that the mail is being slow, and so yes. And the other thing I would say is, and somebody just wrote, Paula, thank you for being patient. We're just getting started in 1 week, but we also know we got a tiger by the tail, folks. We know that everyone is ready to sign. How much easier is it for you to get 10 people to put their name on that petition right now? It's pretty easy. You don't have to go very far. You need extra sheets, get them. We're going to have, I believe, we're going to eventually have tens of thousands of additional petition sheets all over this state. We're going to have millions of signature lines that are available there. We want to overwhelm this, and we want to give strength to every person in the legislature to say, wow, I had no idea there were this many people that felt the way they do. And I can promise you from listening to your comments that we know where you are. We know where you do. So the petition has information on it, how to fill out. It's great detail. It is. That information is also available on unlockmichigan.com. It is also available, again, on how to fill out the petition properly at standupmichigan.com, either one of those websites. And if you have a question you just can't quite answer, info@unlockmichigan.com. We have people setting up there to answer your questions individually as well. Any other final questions? I won't want to keep you. It's been 35 minutes, but I've got comments which I'm thrilled to be able to answer questions and see these finally. I basically, if you have that problem on yours, I actually deleted the Facebook app because when it updated is when that happened, and reinstalled it. And since then, we're good to go. Sorry, we just joined. What petition? Or get their own what petition? This is a petition to repeal the 45, unlock Michigan. The link is at the top of the page. All the information, once you click on that, about the petition, about what it'll accomplish, and you can simply fill out your information, and petition kit will be mailed directly to your house to help take away the powers that this governor has claimed unilaterally. And all of these 153 executive orders that have mandated all of the things that have stepped on our constitutional rights and freedoms. Churches are getting involved. If you go to a church, talk to your pastor, talk to your leaders and whatever. We have churches that are saying, we need to repeal this because this right now is giving them an excuse for the very first time to step directly on the ability for us and our freedom of religion, our freedom to associate together. And in California, there is almost an underground church system that's happening currently. This is not America, people. We have to get this done, and pastors and churches and church people need to wake up and help get this done, and we could get it done, again, we hope, very, very soon. Had an email saying it was on its way, but still have not received them. Understand the first email is it's on its way. The second one should be you should be receiving it now. That could be a day or two in between going out. Remember, we're mailing thousands a day, and it has been taking sometimes 2 to 3 days for them to get there. They're being mailed from Lansing, depending on where you are. The closer you are to there, probably you'll get it in a day or two. If you're up by the UP, it could take 3, 4, 5 days, just like any mail, and mail has definitely been slow. So if I don't have any last minute questions, I'm going to give it 30 more seconds to see if they're there. Otherwise, I want you to get out, get some signatures today. Enjoy the heat and the humidity. If you want to be near water, I understand pretty wavy out there, and at least on the west side. But enjoy your family and realize for the very first time, we're actually able to do something. We're able to put what? Our signature on that paper, just like our forefathers put the signature on that paper for we the people. That signature will take back what? It'll take back the individual rights and freedoms that we not only have, but are our God-given rights. They are not given to us by a governor or by any government. They are yours. They are ours. And by signing this, we're going to take care of this law and this horrible situation that we have been in. And I hope that your businesses are doing well. I hope that you can accommodate things with this and avoid those confrontations as best you can with people. I know that she's talked about forceful. We can be the other. We can set the example. We can be the bigger people. Bite your tongue at times and just simply avoid the confrontation. And instead, let's get the signatures. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we will talk to you on Tuesday night where I'll have another update. God bless everybody here in Michigan, and God bless America. Have a great weekend.